You are getting ready to listen to the voice of Dr. Rhadi Ferguson, 2004 Olympian, four-time national judo champion, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, author, speaker, and coach.
What's going on? This is Dr. Ferguson, 2004 Olympian, four-time national judo champion, former head coach of the Bahamas Judo Federation, and the head judo instructor of Tampa, Florida Judo. Many of you know that I also do life coaching. I also do some coaching in terms of marketing, social media, as well as help people in the realm of academia, especially those individuals trying to get to graduate school, complete graduate school, dissertations, etc. I want to talk to you about something that's very important in terms of professionalism and in terms of being a quality high-level coach. Comparing and contrasting coaches and coaching styles is something that everyone does. Parents do it, athletes do it, other coaches do it. And a lot of parents do it when it's time for them to take their children to someone to be coached. Comparing and contrasting is not a negative thing. We do it all the time. We do it in the grocery store. We do it when we choose a car, house, mate, spouses, etc. We even compare and contrast our children. Not to say that one is better than the other, but it's just a human thing to compare and to contrast. Now, on the sporting side, I want to talk more specifically on the sports of judo or Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, if you will. I think that, let me say it like this. I get calls often. I'm a combat sports consultant, so doesn't matter if it's a MMA school or MMA coach or MMA fighter or judo school, judo coach, judo fighter, or somebody in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu or hell, Greco-Roman wrestling, freestyle wrestling. I'm helping out in those areas too. My job is usually to find the gaps or the holes in the particular game and to come up with some stratagem in order for an individual or a team to move forward or advance from their current ranking or position to where they desire to be or in that particular direction. So what I notice about most people is that they don't understand their current diet, meaning that what you take in every day is part of your diet. If you're on Facebook all the time, if you're on Twitter, if you're watching television, Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, and those particular things, then that is your particular diet, okay? If you eat a lot of vegetables and a lot of fruits, then that's your diet. When I talk to people that I coach on the health and wellness side, they say, well, right now I'm not on a diet. And I tell them, yes, you are on a diet because whatever you are eating, that is your diet. If I just take a list of what you've eaten for the day, that is your particular diet. And we all have a reading diet. We have a consumption diet in terms of what we eat. We also have a cognitive diet. We have an emotional diet. Like all of us have a diet. It's just that many of us don't have a planned diet or a strategic framework for action. Most of the things that we look at when we look at our diet, we look at them after they've already happened. It's not a proactive stance, but a reactive one. So what I do in most places is I try to get a read on the current direction of the program or the person, and then I ask a lot of questions to find out where the desired end goal or result is, and then we map out a strategic framework for action. So what's the first thing that I do? I ask people out the gate, I ask them, what is your philosophical approach for your dojo? And you should hear people when they, what is your philosophical approach when it comes to judo? Like judo has its own philosophy already. Judo has the mutual welfare and benefit. It has its name says it's the gentle way. Judo has its own philosophical approach. Maximum efficiency, okay, with minimal effort. It has its own approach, but the question is that approach a true one, or is that philosophical approach a true one, and can that get you where you want to be? Well, if you have a dojo and you want to teach kata and you want to do things like that, of course you you can get away with that. But if your desired end goal or result is something very different, then I'm sure you know that judo is very, very far away from being the gentle way. And it's not about all the time, minimum effort and maximum efficiency. Sometimes you have a maximum effort, minimum efficiency, and you still win. And that's okay too, depending on what your goals are. Some people want to win early. Some people don't mind losing early and winning late. Some people want to win right now. Some people want to win a little bit late. It's okay. But you need to understand what your philosophical approach is for your particular dojo. The second thing that you have to understand is, after you look at your philosophy, you need to look at your conceptual framework. Now, why do I say the conceptual framework? Because your conceptual framework is going to guide all the ideas and the conversations that you have with other people. So someone can come to you and talk to you about a series of moves, or you can watch moves during the Olympics, and you got to ask yourself, do those particular things fit within the conceptual framework of my game, of my dojo, of my teaching style, etc.? You have to choose that first. So you go from a macro level, okay, philosophical approach, and then your philosophical approach creates your conceptual framework. And then when you have your conceptual framework, then from that conceptual framework of what you want to do, what you don't want to do, what you feel that you want to do, all those things, your conceptual framework then creates your system, okay? And then after you get your system, which is difficult, you start working your system, chiseling down your system, making sure that your system works. And then what you do is you got to model your system. A model is a physical or graphical representation of your particular system. So when you come up with your system, okay, and this is a little bit before you start fine tuning and chiseling it, you have to write it down, because what you'll find out is that maybe your system works sometimes, and at other times it does not work. Your system, there's no system that is infallible. There's no system that is infallible. Every system has its hole in it, but you have to choose the best system for you and for your program based upon what you believe judo is, your philosophical approach of judo and your conceptual framework. Okay, so that creates your system. Then your system has a model. That model is a graphical representation. Now, your curriculum in your dojo, how you teach, it is actually a model because it can be seen and it is graphical, it is written. It is actually a model, even though a different one, it has more verbiage in it. It's a model of that which you believe. So when you go into somebody's place, when you see people compete, you have to be very careful of criticizing the play or what you see, because you don't know the developmental cycle that person is in. You don't know where they are in terms of their particular model. Let me do this. I'm going to do something very basic here. Okay. Bear with me for one moment. I'm not going to give away the house because I'm not a give away the house type of guy. Okay, I will do this. I will make it very basic. I'm just going to number it. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so it'll probably be backwards to you, okay? But 1, 2, 3. Now, this is a graphical representation. This is a model. It's a model of 1, 2, 3. Now, anybody who understands models will tell you, well, okay, that's a top-down model. I mean, it starts from the top and then it goes up to the bottom. 1, 2, 3. Now, if you look at judo in its basic model, okay, judo as a sport, it follows 1, we're standing up. 2, we hit the ground. And then there's actually an option for number 3. So some people go through 1, okay, a match by default. Very few matches where I've seen I've never seen a match where nobody's ever fallen down. Okay, so everybody goes to 2, and then 3 is an option. So when you look at a match, you're looking at 1, 2, 1, or 1. You're looking at 1, 2, 1, or you're looking at 1, 2, 3, 1. So when you look at a judo match, you're looking at 1, 2, 1, or 1, 2, 3, 1, depending on how you want to do it. So if you look at 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, it is a lot different than 1, 2, 3, 1. So as we add in an extra number, even if it's math, then we add it. Now I got to do the mathematics. Now you got to go through the mathematical modeling. Like, understand the mathematical modeling. How many different iterations or opportunities are there for 2 numbers, like 1 and 2? You got 1, 2, and you got 2 and 1. How many options are there for 3 numbers? You got 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1, 2, 1, 3, 3, 1, 2. So you have more options as you increase in the number of possibilities for your numbers, as you increase the number of permutations, if you will, okay? So when you add the 3rd step or the newaza to your game, automatically your game becomes more complex. But if you don't have the type of conceptual framework or the philosophical approach that is going to require you to look at the game in such a manner, then everything for you is different. So within these blocks, everything in these blocks starts to get complex, because in this blocks of stand up, you have the first thing that you have from a physiological standpoint, you have locomotion, okay? Then you have gripping, all right? Then you have this box has its own conceptual framework and its own philosophy and its own techniques, okay? And then you have this part, well, the people are falling down, which is the transition game, the throw game, the foot sweep game. It has all these different skill sets in it, okay, based upon what you believe and what you want to do and where you want to go and how you want to get there. Then this stuff and these 2 things are also based upon body types, weight classes, referees, okay, rules, rule set, and then you have this 3rd thing here. Then the 3rd thing is going to be based upon, again, body types, information, etc. So you may not have what you see here. Some people just don't have the information to fill out this box. And if you do have the information to fill out this, while you're filling out this box, these boxes are being neglected because you can't do everything all the time at once. It's not possible. So when I look at my model was created and shaped over time and had a great influence on it by Taraji Williams Murray, because he was studying his MBA at the time. My model is based upon investment economics, period. Investment economics. I'm not going to go in it mathematically. I'm not going to do those particular things. Those are for people who come down and see me and my clientele, et cetera, that understand my system and my model and the way that I do things. And it gets really complex. Even in jiu-jitsu, you've seen these people put together these long quality mind maps. And remember, a mind map is necessary, and it's something that I do as well. But a mind map is still a reactive thing. What you need and what everybody's not giving you is they're not giving you the philosophical approach behind what makes that mind map that mind map. So if you try to just go and grab a piece of that system or go and grab a piece of somebody's triangle system or half guard pass system or sweep system, that piece that you have, although it's great in terms of knowledge, if your goal is to just get into the knowledge acquisition game, I mean, that's great, but the question is, where is it and how does it fit in your overall system? Is it modular? Does it connect? Is there a tentacle of that thing that connects with the tentacle of your thing? okay, that creates this game that does this. Because if that's not happening, then unfortunately, you're spinning your tires. You're spinning your tires. But what you want to understand is you want to understand the differences among a philosophical approach, a conceptual framework, a system, and modeling. You need to understand these things. Now, I'm not going to get into shaping because that's something totally different, okay? But when you have all of those things and all those things are packaged, okay, and you actually have them written down and you can spit them back out and you know them at their core, then there's the other hurdle that's in place. It's the hurdle of teaching, learning, dissemination, and inculcation combined with the ability to receive. Then there's the end user. Can the end user understand you? I can get the greatest coach from Kazakhstan. He can even know the terms in terms of judo, okay? And he can show you a lot of things. But there's still going to be a small gap in the delivery of the information because there's some nuances that you're just not going to be able to climb over because of a language barrier. So that particular thing can create the hole in the game, which can stop you from being as good as you possibly can be. Or they may have so much information, okay, that it's like, that is so good that gap that they have doesn't matter. That's a possibility too. However, you have to know where the holes and the weaknesses are in the game and the system and the delivery of the information and the philosophical approach and the conceptual framework and the system and the modeling and the dissemination, inculcation and the teaching and the learning and the receiving of the information. You have to understand these things because all these things impact your ability to coach. Now, what is a coach? If you look back at the true definition of a coach hooks carts or things together, connects one thing to another, and then moves it forward. When you coach, okay, you have to have an understanding of all these things that I've said. Otherwise, you're not hooking up anything, and you're not moving anything forward. You're not hooking up things. You're not moving things forward. Winning is just one aspect of the total of the total thing, the total game. I don't compete anymore. I'm 41 years old. I'm not doing any masters competitions. But it's still my job to move the information forward, to move the game forward, to move judo forward. It's my job to play on the edges of the game to kind of give a nudge and a push. Other dojo coaches, it's their job to continue to move the game forward. And the best way to do that, man, the best way to do that is to continue to learn. And you don't become a better judo coach by doing more judo. No. There are things outside the realm of judo which are going to help you become a better coach. If nothing else, please do yourself a favor and sit down and write down your philosophical approach when it comes to training. Sit down and write down your conceptual framework, the things that guide the moves and the techniques that you use, and do these particular things. It'll actually help you. You'll see that there are probably certain techniques and moves that you need to go get and learn that fit within your system that you didn't think about before. And then you need to really accept where your system has holes, because every system has holes, every one of them. Señor Delgado, ¿cómo está? Un placer. Every system has holes in it. Mine has holes in it. Now, as I close, I want to say this. All of those particular things have an effect on game planning. I was talking to Sensei Serge Borisua out in Rhode Island. As a matter of fact, yesterday, we were talking about the match between our two players. And I told him, I said, at the Junior U.S. Open, I said, I was stuck. I said, because I knew what to do as a former elite player, but from the information that my client has been given up to that particular point of that match, he did not have the information nor the nuances in the game to fight from a certain position in order to win. It was a double sleeve game. And when you fight double sleeves, you got to be aware of how the hands move underneath. You got to be aware if your hands are too high on the lapel or kind of put them down because of the sodes that come right and left. But and how you have to turn your elbow. Like there are certain things to that particular game that my client didn't know. And he was trapped in a washing machine cycle of a game that he didn't have the information for. My particular approach to judo doesn't teach those things. Does not lead for me to teach those things of that type of game early. So he didn't know them. But I'm accepting of that. I understand that. I understand it as a weakness. Okay? And the reason why I'm telling you this, I'm going to segue into this part. All those particular things, the modeling, the system, the conceptual framework, all those things are separate and set apart from game planning. Game planning is the implementation of stratagem and tactics in order to implement your philosophical approach on the environment of play. And that has to do with sitting in the chair, coaching from the sidelines, match preparation, scouting reports, referee match manipulation, and all of those things, and the invocation of those things with your overall philosophy. So when people want to know what it is that I do, that's what I do. I'm a fixer, and every fix that I make is not quick. I do have some fixes that can be quick, but some fixes, they're not quick. Some fixes are 5, 7, 10-year fixes. I have some clients that have had 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Yeah, I've had some clients for 11 years now. 11 years. 11. Now, they've all won national championships, but it didn't happen overnight. We did win more matches, but most people who come to me from other places, they lose at first. And they want to know why. And I tell them in the beginning, I say, you're going to lose at first. And they say, why? Why am I going to lose? I said, because it's not about judo. I said, you're changing systems. You're trading out one system and putting in another one. And sometimes the systems don't marry. It's something. I was recently looking at a video that was posted about the Youth Olympics when I was coaching the Bahamas. And the style of play that was going on in that video is different than the style of play that goes on currently. But the style of play that was going on then was foundationally set up for them to be at a certain place now. But they switch models. It's okay to switch models. It's just the model that I was teaching is the model and the system that I was teaching was the one that was at play during the Olympics. But everything in life is a dice roll. You just have to go you have to go with the best odds on the dice roll. That's it. And when it comes to your career, it's not a bad thing to bet on Ferguson. I'm not the only person that you need, but I'm one of the people that you need. You need a bunch of people. You need a collaborative approach. Don't think that one coach is going to get you to where you need to go. That's not true. Jimmy Pedro, okay, did not have Christopher Round and myself write the scouting report for Kayla because he could do it by himself. Okay, he did it because he can't do it by himself. And that doesn't mean that Jimmy cannot write the report. Yes, he can write a report. He went to Brown. He's an intelligent dude, Ivy League grad. He can write it. It's only 24 hours in a day. And certain people do certain things well. So we have to do something. He has to do something. His dad has to do something. It's Mike Boyle and Paul Susi, his strength and conditioning coach, have to do something. And everybody has to get involved and do something as a collaborative approach. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that you have the best people around for you based upon the conceptual framework that you choose. Once I sat down and chose my thing and my framework, I put the people in place. I put Juan Carlos Santana in place on my strength and conditioning. I put Eddie Liddy in place on the gripping and the strategic work. I put Angelo Ruiz in place when it came to my throwing. He's a 3-time Olympian from Puerto Rico. I put Lloyd Irvin in place in terms of my mat work development when I was getting ready for Olympics. I put all these things in place. And a lot of people looked at my style of play when I was playing judo. Just like I heard people talking about Travis Stevens saying that, oh, Travis doesn't have any judo. And I said, man, what are you talking about, man? What are you talking about? That's like saying Kayla Harrison doesn't have any stand-up because she beat everybody on the ground at the Olympics. What you're seeing at the Olympic Games, you're seeing people put their best foot forward in terms of game planning, in terms of strategy. That's all you're seeing. And you're seeing tactics at play. And if the tactics and the strategy are so good, then what you'll see technique. Sometimes you can't. Sometimes you won't even see the technique. You'll just miss it. Or you won't see the technique that you want to see. Because it's just a different environment. So, with that being said, listen, man, I hope you guys have a great day. If you have any questions, feel free to hit me in my inbox and ask me any questions. I got some seminars coming up pretty soon. I think in September I have a scissor sweep seminar, and then I think on September 1st, everything's moving pretty fast. On September 1st, I have a grip and grind coaching program because I try to niche things down a little bit more because the information is just so vast. I'm just going over the grip and grind philosophical approach. And then for those people who want to get in the grip fighting coaching education program, you can go to gripfighting.com. And I think that's it for now. You know, still got books on Amazon on the scissor sweep and other things about judo. But that's it for right now. If you have any questions, let me see. Any questions? Yeah, Travis Stevens is a beast, Tristan, of course. This is absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. All right, man. Everybody have a great day. Take care.